Entrepreneuse Channel TV, rewriting Africa's story through enterprise Amazons. We promote women in business. We showcase women in business.
Entrepreneuse Channel TV, creating a platform of expression for every woman.
Honorable Modupe Mujota is currently a member of the House of Assembly, Ogun State, representing Ogun North Constituency, which comprises of 4 communities: Owu, Bagbura, Okeono, and Okeogun. She commenced her sojourn in the public sector service in October 2015, when she was appointed by the former governor, Senator Ibukule Amosun. A passionate belief in and commitment to the Nigerian project, particularly the utilization of core technocratic solutions and private sector competencies to add value in the public sector, have galvanized the latent talent in the ministry with resounding acclaim within and outside Ogun State. She was, until her appointment, the managing director at United Capital Asset Management Limited, formerly UBA Asset Management Limited, a leading firm in fund management in Nigeria with responsibility for its portfolio of investments, crafting and implementing a growth strategy for the firm, and coordinating its market share acquisition. Prior to this, she was the managing director at Kakawa Asset Management Limited between 2011 to 2013, and also managing director of BGL Asset Management Limited. She also served as an executive committee member of the Fund Management Association of Nigeria. During a distinguished career that has spanned over 20 years, she has held leadership and senior management roles in various areas in the financial services industry, including commercial banking, asset management, corporate finance, and risk management. Her interests include the strengthening of family life through women empowerment and leveling the playing field in child development and education. She has furthered through her developmental work with organizations like the ISSA Wali Empowerment Initiative, through the part of which she played an anchor role, and the key initiative for families of children with disabilities that she is currently pioneering. She also sits on the board of the Fumi Iyonda-founded Change a Life Foundation. Her strong character traits have been the bedrock of her unblemished career, with her opinion widely sought after, particularly on financial matters. Modupe is married and has 2 children. Good day, everyone. My name is Damilola Karim. Welcome to another episode of Girl Politicking. The program with me today is a female politician. Her name is Honorable Modupe Mujota. Welcome to the program.
Thank you. Good to have you here.
Can you please introduce yourself to our viewers now?
Well, as said already, my name is Modupe Mujota. I'm the state constituency representative of the good people of Abeokuta North here in Ogun State.
Maybe now you got into politics.
First, I had a stint as commissioner, state commissioner for education, science and technology. Okay. My term was from October till October 2015 till January this year, when I resigned to pursue the career in politics. And it was a simple thing. It was after serving the people, getting in touch with the people, because when you're related to the children in any community, you have the heart of the community, parental involvement and so on and so forth being considered. My role also made sure that I needed to traverse the entire state, visiting all the schools and educational installations across the state. So I got a firm understanding of the structure of the state as well. Okay. there's nothing more gratifying than knowing that you're able to change or influence the lives of people simply by serving them. And so it was that, together with the fact that a lot of us, when we're in the private sector, complain so much about the public sector. When you find yourself in the public sector, you get to understand more about the difficulties of public office. Okay. And that, together with my governor, Senator Abeokuta North then, his own interest to make sure that women folk were properly represented. So his cabinet was one where we had, I believe, 6 out of 20 commissioners being ladies. He has a firm belief and conviction in the power of women to deliver on mandates. And with his encouragement, it seemed a logical next step for me to get involved in mainstream politics. And so here I am today.
Thank you, ma'am. All right, now can we know the challenges that you faced being a female politician?
I'd say being a politician in itself, gender left out of it, is challenging, because often enough the electorate do not fully recognize who you are without a financial exchange, if you like. So that in itself affects all politicians, whether or not your gender is considered. The second thing for me, coming from the private sector into politics, they didn't even see it as public sector, because public sector was what I had done in the interim, but their question was, who is this person that we don't know from Adam, that wants to take public office and wants to be a politician and all of that. And the third was they were concerned about my ability to fit in, if you like, at grassroots level into politics. So those were the immediate challenges that I faced. And then, of course, the latter one being, okay, you're a woman, can you stand in what is typically a playground for men? And those were the challenges, but God was faithful. We were able to navigate each one. My person as an individual is that I throw myself into whatever endeavor I'm involved in. It's 110% or not at all. And so I threw myself into it 110%. I remember some of my own icons, that people that I look up to, the Bola Adesholas of this world, the Mrs. Awoshikas of this world, people that have distinguished themselves in different fields of endeavor. Yes, they've been largely private sector leaders, but they have a voice in the public sector as well. And so I framed part of my life around their own achievements and how the steps they took towards making those achievements. And so I found it very rewarding so far.
Which female in politics inspires and motivates you?
Female in politics. Local?
No, doesn't necessarily have to be local.
I think I'm probably still on the quest to find one.
Okay.
I'm still on the quest to find one. Madeleine Albright in the US always carried herself with such grace and dignity. And in a man's world, she continued to distinguish herself as a major force to be reckoned with, despite her very calm mien and her ability to speak intelligently, albeit with the mindset of consideration and collaboration. You know, she was in a very sensitive office and all of that, but she carried it with such grace that I think she would be an icon to watch for me.
Now, how expensive can it get to actually contest in an election, especially in Nigeria?
That's part of the mindset that we're trying to change. Party paraphernalia, first and foremost, costs money. The advertising, the campaign, vehicles you need to acquire, branded items that you need to give out, and so on and so forth, all cost money, as does mobilization of individuals and things like that. So all those things are part of the mindset that ultimately will change. But politics in Nigeria is still an extremely expensive enterprise. And so your next question will probably be, how was the finance raised? Yes. Transparently is what I would say. I did open a campaign account that was dedicated for the purpose, and well-meaning Nigerians donated, along with business partners that I'd worked with in the past. My colleagues in my over 20-something years in the investment banking and banking subsector contributed to that as well. as well as party supporters. They also contributed to the enterprise to make it what it is today. You also call in favors where they're available, so you call in some favors as well, and so all together. But I think the greatest thing beyond the financial aspect is to ensure that you have the heart and the ears of the people, which I think we were able to do.
I will be hearing about 35% inclusion. How do you intend to help in achieving that? Because currently it's obvious that women are not up to 35%. How do you intend to help in achieving that?
In fact, there's a national body, the Conference of Female Parliamentarians in Nigeria. We had a meeting about 2 weeks ago, a retreat that was funded by international bodies that are also helping to support the call for that kind of representation. In many jurisdictions abroad, it's even gone beyond 35%.
Yes.
In Nigeria, unfortunately, the reverse has been the case. So over the years, particularly between 2015 down to this current one that we just finished, the numbers actually dropped. And that's not encouraging at all across the federation. So definitely, and I don't think it's because women are less of individuals than the men are. I think it's just an ability to showcase the women that we have, to rightfully position them, and to give them a platform off which to leverage. I know the men will say probably that, oh, at least we're not selling party forms, depending on the party, to the women and all of that. But it's not about what you give to us. It's about what you open the floodgates for us to partake of. I believe true empowerment isn't about what you give to people, it's about what they show the capacity to be able to handle. And I think over the years, the African woman, let alone the Nigerian woman, have demonstrated an immense capacity to expand their scope and sphere of influence, to take on even the hardest jobs.
Entrepreneuse Channel TV, Africa's first gender-based television service. Yes! At Entrepreneuse Channel TV, our primary responsibility is promoting women entrepreneurs in West African countries. We also support women's well-being, share women's knowledge on a variety of subjects and topics, passions and opinions. Entrepreneuse Channel TV is on Intelsat 20. Our satellite coverage is within Africa, Europe, Middle East, Asia, North and South America. Opportunities abound for women-owned micro to small businesses, corporate bodies and organizations, and also government parastatals. For inquiries and advert placements, contact 0705 5053 843. Entrepreneuse Channel TV, rewriting Africa's story through enterprise immersion.
These jobs. So I was watching a TV station that's a very popular TV station run and owned by a woman, and they were talking about the dynamics of how they relate and how most of their departments are championed by women, and they're doing great things. So you found that whether it's in job stability, women have proven to be more stable at the job.
Yes.
On the corruption index, women are less found to be given to corruption.
Yeah, that's true.
They are focused on the job, aside from the initial challenges of motherhood and so on and so forth. When they're on the job, they're on the job. It's rare that you will find a woman doing a side business when they're not given to a side hustle and things like that. So a woman is, by any stretch of the imagination, a worthy being to have on your campus, regardless of enterprise that you're running. And so I believe that with time, the consciousness will continue to be awakened to that in the Nigerian experience. CONFEPA, that's the Conference of Female Parliamentarians, CONFEPA has made that a firm thrust that it's going to pursue in these 4 years to ensure that not only do we position women to take more place in politics, particularly as we approach 2023, we have purposed in our minds that the time to start is now. And so each and every one of us that is currently sitting in a political office is charged with the responsibility to raise disciples. The women in management and business, popularly known as WIMBIS, they've added public service to it. And they are also in another, I think, before the end of this month, holding a small training session for women that are interested in going into politics. And I will be sponsoring people to attend that. So it's a clarion call for women who are empowered already to empower others, and to position them appropriately for political office, whether it's at councillorship level, at the ward level, getting them into exco, at party level, and for the serious roles. For too long, women have been consigned to the role of welfare officer, women leader, youth leader. No, we want positions at the table, treasurer. We want positions at the table where hard decisions are being taken. And so my charge is to ensure that in addition to myself being given a seat at the table, that I encourage and sponsor and train and mentor women to begin to take those roles at every stage, every strata of the political office, yes.
Can you please tell us a little about your last campaign and what you learned from it?
I learned the power of one. And I use my polling unit as an example. In my polling unit, I think we had about 700 plus registered. But on the day of election, I don't think we were more than 200 that showed up. And that for me is instructive. So the power of one when it comes to politics is fundamental, because that one vote can make all the difference. Yes. So you cannot bypass or overlook anybody. Too often people say, how many votes can those people bring? Quite a lot, thank you very much, given that people won elections, some with margins as small as 6 votes. Beyond seeing them as voters is also the fact that they are part of our community. Yorubas have a saying that Ajoje, Ajoshelundu. If my community is not well, even one individual within my community is not well, like the body, it will affect us all. It's a function of time. And so it's important, therefore, to ensure that representation is, if there's any such thing, equal for each and every member of the constituency. And I got to meet them. And, you know, I hear Modupe, it's just overwhelming. It's amazing. There's warmth. It's sincere. They're not putting on any airs or anything. They're genuinely happy to see me. And it's like oxygen to the average human being, the need to be accepted. So that for me has been the greatest feeling.
Thank you. May we know your stand on politics in Nigeria currently?
Currently, too often the private sector, people that are not involved, like my old boss would say, he said, you get out of your air-conditioned house into your air-conditioned car to your air-conditioned office with somebody carrying your bag, and you order your tea and coffee and they bring it to you. He says, that's not the real Nigeria. The real Nigeria is on the streets out there. Unfortunately, the private sector is sitting in their office with their tea and their coffee, and the decisions about who is going to lead the nation are being made by the people on the street. So there has to be a harmonization between those two worlds, because unfortunately the private sector seems to control so much of the wealth, while the public or the average man on the street who is taking decisions about leadership does not get invited to the party when leadership gets installed. We have to change that. So Nigerian politics is ripe now for people of every shade, every color, every creed to see their role to play in shaping the future of this entity that we call Nigeria. It's not about you, it's not about me, it's about all of us coming together to take that responsibility. We're first Nigerians before we're from the north, from the west, from the... I don't think I recall meeting somebody from the UK who says, oh, I'm from Birmingham. No. I'm a citizen of the United Kingdom. You don't meet somebody who's from the US and you ask him, where are you from? He says, I'm from the United States. He doesn't say, I'm from Alabama. When you drill down, he will get to it. Yes. But first and foremost, he's a citizen of the United States. I want that to happen in Nigeria. The only way it can happen is when we see Nigeria as a responsibility of the collective. We all move to Lagos, we all live in Lagos. Nobody calls themselves, I'm a Lagosian. Lagos belongs to us all. Nigeria belongs to us all. And that's the way we need to see it going forward. Yes, we have different jurisdictions that we now are called to, drill down and serve, but ultimately Nigeria has to come first. And politics in Nigeria has to recognize that, and that will remove and strip away the bitter politics that we're playing.
As a politician, may we know your vision for our nation, Nigeria, like your personal vision?
Bequeathal. To summarize it in one word, bequeathal. It should be a country that we feel proud to hand over to our children and their children's children. Can I answer that question today and say yes? No, I cannot. So unless and until we get to that place where we're able to say with pride, this is Nigeria, I'm passing the baton on to you. Don't go to school elsewhere, don't go to work elsewhere, don't go to sleep elsewhere, don't buy property elsewhere like our fathers did. Then we've done something. That's my vision.
When you casted your vote, do we know if it ever crossed your mind that you could have, not win, you could have lost, and how did you deal with such a feeling?
I never give myself time to think about failure. I think about the process more than the end.
Okay.
So for me, it wasn't about winning or losing. It was about giving it a hell of a fight during the journey. God rewards our effort. And I know that if the effort is right, the reward will come. So I never gave myself time enough to think about that. When we hit the road at 8 a.m. or 9 a.m. in the morning and we didn't get home till 10, 11 at night, I never once had the time to think, what if we fail? My thoughts were always, let's get through the next 1 hour. Let's get through the next 1 hour. Let's meet the next set of people. Let's talk to the next set of people. I understand that there's a popular joke outside that if I met 2 or 3 people by the roadside, I'd jump out of my bus and introduce myself. I agree. But that's who I am. It's who I am.
It's even necessary for you.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Can you please tell us where you hope to see yourself in the next 5 years, political-wise?
Political-wise, well, 5 years. I mean, 4 years I'd just be done here. So, will I be seeking more office? Yes, perhaps. Okay. Absolutely. Higher office, definitely. Okay. But I have to get through the first 4 years. So let's do it. Amen to that. Amen to that.
Maybe do your advice to other females that hope to be in your position in the nearest future?
Get out of the kitchen, get out of the bedroom, put on your big girl pants and dive in. Nobody is going to invite you. You have to go and put your head. Okay. Yeah, so I wouldn't say look for an invitation, no. Open the door and ask, how can I be involved?
Now, you mentioned earlier that you were into management.
Yes, investment banking. Yes.
Okay, maybe know if you're still into anything related to that outside the office.
No, I'm not. Apart from the fact that I was chairman of Gateway Mortgage Bank here, okay. And that was very rewarding as well. I continue to chair the bank. Apart from that, no. Apart from my networks of friends and family members, not much in the way of investment banking. But I think investment banking, because when you're in investment banking, you do a lot, including advisory. And I had the benefit of sitting on the sidelines to watch some advisory mandates for state governments. So it has given me a helicopter approach to problem identification and problem solving. The networks that I have also uniquely position me to perhaps be a bit of a head and shoulders higher than my colleagues, because I've been on the executive side of government, been on the private side of Nigeria, and now I'm in politics and public service. So I think I have a bit of a higher view than most people can talk about when it comes to this. But of course that gives you a greater responsibility to make sure that you don't mess up.
Maybe know how you combine, being a female, definitely having a family, and then, being on top of the game in politics also. How do you combine it all? And
God first. So you have to get on your knees and pray the living daylights every single day. A husband that is unbelievably supportive, accommodating, and understanding of the responsibilities that I have. And children that have also decided that they will not be selfish about their mother and release her to the world to be the best that she can be. So those things have together helped me to spread my wings and fly. But it also, again, to whom much is given, much is expected. So the responsibility and the freedom you've been given is huge. It's huge.
It's also nice having this time with you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Having us here for this interview.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you, our viewers, for watching. Trust me, you've learned a lot from us today. You've learned a lot from our honorable here. So we hope that next time we'll all be alive to actually have the next show. We'll all be alive to see who will be bringing in next for the girl political section. Thank you.